never touch A, I recommend these series of books for kids. I didn't answer the question. You just looking so good. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you clicked on this video today, that means that you need to know what to do and what not to do while breastfeeding. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shandalee, and if you clicked on this video, it's because you need some lessons on breastfeeding. Lord, it is a lot that I had to learn and a lot of mistakes I had to do while my journey of breastfeeding. I need some lessons on what to do, what not to do while breastfeeding. On this channel, we have realistic content here as a stay-at-home mom. So I'm just walking through today of breastfeeding. Oh my God, and what a hassle it was for me to go through that journey. It was beautiful. It was bittersweet. It was an extremely beautiful journey, but it was hard. It was extremely hard to go through breastfeeding just because I was the only person in my entire family that did breastfeed except for my mom. And honestly, I don't count her because as she stated, she breastfed for a month. So, hey, I mean, even if you breastfed for one day, good for you. But I was the only one that went an entire... Okay, so I just looked at my Snapchat because I wanted to be accurate, and I did record the last, I don't know, thank God I was able to get that. My last time that I breastfed was September 13, 2023, almost a month to the day tomorrow, and I am so sad and aggy about it, but hey, it came to an end. But I actually stopped pumping September 6th, 2023. So over a month ago, I stopped pumping, but I still wanted to continue my breastfeeding journey. I just wanted him to latch on, and because he knew, it was weird because in August, he knew that I was, like, it's like he felt that I was going to stop pumping soon. So he was latching on so much better, and I was like, oh my God. After I'm done pumping, you know, I felt comfortable enough to stop pumping because he was latching on so good that after I was done pumping, he kind of stopped. He just said, I am okay, Mom. I no longer need your milk. I'm fine with lactate milk. I don't need breast milk. And that broke my heart, but it was whenever he decided to go. I came to terms with it, and I told myself, if he wants to end now, so be it. But it did break my heart. I'm not going to lie to you because I was not looking forward to ending my breastfeeding journey that soon. So I breastfed my child for 14 months, and I stopped pumping also at 14 months. Yeah, 14 months when I stopped pumping. This is my first child, but this is not my first rodeo. I have a lot of children in my family, so I had a lot of practice. I also worked with children as well. So, although this is my first child, again, I have a lot of experience. So, I'm going to walk you step by step of what I did and what I didn't do, and my point of view on parenthood. So, if you guys like, please like, comment, and subscribe to my video below. Now let's continue with the video. I decided to lower the video just a little bit because I wanted you guys to see the parts. So I'm not only going to go over all of my mistakes and what I did wrong, completely wrong while breastfeeding, I also am going to be packing up all of my breast pumps for the last time, packaging them up. And I am going to be storing them away just because me and my boyfriend do not know whether we're going to have another child. And honestly, like, comment below how you guys feel about giving away breast pumps. They're so expensive. Maybe the pumps I will give away if I decide not to have another child. But I don't know. I mean, these are all clean. They're sterilized. And they're going to be in Ziploc bags, which I have to go and get. But I don't know how I feel about giving away breast pumps. How do you guys feel about that? To me, I think it's a sanitary issue. And I don't know, a lot of my friends are like, you have so much, just sell them. And I'm like, it's not a bad thing. But do people buy used breast pump parts? I don't know. But as we package this together, what I'm going to do is tell you what I did correctly and what I did terribly wrong with breastfeeding. Let's get started. You might want to get a snack. This is going to be a little while. All right, what we have here is I have an entire diaper bag, box, sorry, not bag, of breast pumps. Entire bag, box, what the heck? So I'm just gonna toss this in here and toss this in here and show you how full to the top. Those are all breast pumps and breast milk storage bags. Wild. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just take out all the bags. Now these bags, I think I am gonna give them away just because I have a few. So I'm gonna start off with the bags just because they're very simple and the rest are just parts that are not, like, they need to be sorted through, girl. So if you see me pointing down, obviously I'm still talking to you guys, but I do want to get this organization going while doing this video. So first things first, before we even get into the mistakes, the do's, the don'ts of pumping, breastfeeding, I do want to point out a mistake I feel I made myself. So my insurance covered the mandala. I don't know if you guys see that, but it gives you all the directions on the back. Don't get me wrong, I have not had an issue with these bags. A lot of people online, I did research a lot of the bags, and they said that they didn't have the most issue with these. These were kind of like everybody's favorite, which I do like. I didn't have any leaks at all with these bags. I stored a lot of breast milk. Not like a crazy amount. Like I thought I was going to be the one that was like a super oversupplier. I was a bit of an oversupplier, but to a point where if I was sick, there was enough milk to cover for about 2 to 3 weeks. But never think anything over that. No. They had to come right out. But 2 to 3 weeks of milk is still a big stash to have. So I did use quite a bit of these. I've used hundreds of bags of these, if not. I do like these. I think they're a great idea. I like that they have the dates on top. They have the measuring. Honestly, the measuring on this thing is completely wrong. I always tell everybody, use a bottle and then dump it in here in the breast bag and then label it. Do never go by what's on the bag because most of the time they're not correct. I did like these. I didn't have much issues with them at all. I never had milk leak out of them at all. But why are people not talking about these ones? These are amazing. I love that it has the little spout there. You can rip it and then pour it right into the bottle. The most annoying thing about this is that, like, especially on the tired nights where I didn't have enough milk in the refrigerator, I had to go into the stash and open this up and try to pour it into the bottle when you're tired and some milk hits on the counter. Our breast milk is precious. We don't want to waste it. So this spout was amazing. So I end up switching to this brand. I'll show you. Oh, there we go. I end up using this at the end when I was restocking my freezer stash. There was a point in time that I got really sick and I needed to use my stash in the freezer. So once that was getting low, I said, okay, it's time to hydrate, honey. We need to put this stash back up because my fear was that I was to get sick again and I didn't have enough milk and I wasn't able to take out the milk, just because obviously when you're sick, your milk supply decreases a bit when you are sick. And not only that, but when you're sick, you kind of do need medicine. And to me, there's a lot of other information. You do what you like. And I say you follow what's in your heart. But to me, I didn't like to take any medication. I was the woman that took absolutely no medication while breastfeeding. I did not like it. I would take vitamins, certain vitamins, to boost my breast supply. And I will tell you guys the breast milk supply of the vitamins that I did take, what worked and what didn't work. But these bags were savers. I love them. I just always wanted to have a stash. I feared having a low stash and then getting sick again. Let's see. In the 14 months that I breastfed and pumped, because I was a girly that did both, I know a lot of people said that that was just way too much work. But I honestly liked the bond that I had with my son while breastfeeding. So whenever he wanted to latch on, baby, latch on. And then I would still pump after. So it was double the work doing both, because you just didn't have any breathing time. Like me, between breastfeeding and pumping, I say maybe 2 hours between each stash. And I was for 10 months. I did it around the clock, and then after that 9-10 month mark, I said absolutely not. I am stopping pumping at 9 o'clock at night, and I will start again at 6-7 in the morning. I'm not pumping at night no more, and I end up getting more sleep after he turned 9 months. And I felt like my stash was doable. So if I didn't have any milk in the refrigerator, I had it in the freezer. All right. So I definitely recommend these bags more than the Mandela ones. These are just because they have a spout. They're more smaller. They're not taking up much space. And for the girlies on here that are pumping and having such an oversupply, I'm telling you, I did not. The most that I've ever pumped was 10 ounces, and that was maybe 3 or 4 times throughout my entire pumping journey. Usually the average was about 8 ounces a session. And then after that, I want to say the last 4 or 5 months, it dramatically changed to maybe 4 to 6 ounces per session. And then after that, that was it. So to me, the smaller bags were worth it. But honestly, if you're pumping a lot more, I would go with these just because they have a bit more room. But the spout on these things are lifesavers. When I stashed my milk, I only stashed it in 4 ounces increments. I didn't do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Like some people put a lot of milk and try to squeeze it all in there. Me, I did not want to spill my precious gold, so I only did 4 ounces per bag and kept it moving. Now, I am going to just pause here. I'm going to try to rearrange. I think I'm going to bring my son's chest over so that you guys are able to see me packing things while I'm talking as well, because I don't want to look down the entire video. That's kind of pointless. So let me get the chest and I'll move it over here so that we can get going. Oh, this is kind of perfect. All right, guys. So I have the box of the breast pumps here. I have my son's whisker basket. This is his chest. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but it's usually against the window so that he doesn't do too much playing around the window. And there's just his learning toys inside. So I'm just going to use this as a table so we can get this video going. I also have gallon-sized bags. And I have sandwich bags. And then I have a permanent marker because in my breastfeeding journey, I'm going to list all of the breast pumps that I did use, but I was that girly that was part of like the Telegram, Amazon groups, and they always had the pumps from like $25 to $60, and honey, I bought them every time. I was not the girl that replaced her pump parts like every 3 months. No, like every 3 months I was getting a newer, cheaper pump, because honestly buying the cost of the replacement parts for the pumps was the same as getting like one of the cheaper pumps. And honestly, do not knock it till you try it, because a lot of my pumps that were a lot more affordable than the one that was covered by my insurance, and also the, how much was that? That was about like a $200 pump. It was so much better than the $200 pump. The $25 one was a lot better than the $200 one. So we're just going to get into that. I'm going to take out a few of the sandwich bags and put them to the side so that we can go through this together, because honestly everything is mixed in here. So I'm just going to try to do my best to have everything together. First thing first is my hand pump one. I do like this. This one I use for when I need to get a letdown out ASAP, as soon as possible. I liked it. I just wish I got this a lot sooner. I didn't get the manual one until maybe 6 months into my breastfeeding journey. I'm lying. About 4 to 5 months into my breastfeeding journey is when I got the manual pump, and I wish I got it a lot sooner. Now, the scalp it comes with is 24 ounces, which is big. It is, again, big. Now, this is the size that my nips really are. So there's a huge difference in that. I definitely would say why is it not in here? Oh, it is in here. Buying one of these are critical. I did not buy a nip ruler. This is really just like a ruler for kids, but it's circular, so it definitely measures your nips. So it's recommended to resize them and check the sizing of your nips every 3 months. Mine's pretty much stayed consistent between 16 and 17. There was not much of a change. So I just continue staying with the, I believe it's 17 mm. I did not change it from them, but I do recommend getting this as soon as you start your breastfeeding journey and you decide that you need to pump. Now, my son was born with a tongue tie, so latching was hard for us. Even if he didn't have a tongue tie, like latching was just hard. It was my first time doing, like, I'm new. I'm not new. Why I'm new. But I'm used to having kids. I understand kids completely. I know formula like the back of my hand. Again, I worked with kids. But not a lot of moms around me or near me or in my environment, in my village, did not breastfeed. I am pretty much the only one that breastfed her baby. Number one, that long. Number two, the one person in my family that tried was my mother, and she only breastfed me for a month because apparently I was a biter. So I had to pretty much learn breastfeeding on my own. Other than that, I feel like that was the only difficult part of the first year of parenting. Just because I didn't have a lot of help or guidance or even experience around breastfeeding. Now, I have worked in the hospital. I worked on Mother Baby before, so I do know the medical behind it. But even if you're a nurse, even if you've been in the medical field, anyone will tell you, if you are not going through it and you don't have that experience, even though you know the medical side of things, it doesn't even compare when you go through the experience on your own. So pretty much learning breastfeeding through reading different articles and like fact-checking and, you know, talking to my breastfeeding counselor. Although I loved my breastfeeding counselor, love is reaching. I would say I liked her. Unfortunately, she was not as credible as I wanted her to be. She didn't know a lot. She's just like, yeah, just latch them on, that's it. But there was not much experience she had on pumping. So I feel like that's where we didn't click, and maybe I should have reached out and changed my breastfeeding counselor. But as far as that, I felt like it was always, oh, you got to Google this, and oh, go to this website for the best. So you just surround yourself around people that know their stuff. For me, unfortunately, it was extremely difficult. There was so many times that I cried to my boyfriend, and why is it so hard to find people that are going through the same things? You know, I had to watch a lot of YouTube tutorials and like see other moms go through it. And then a lot of moms, you know, they sugarcoat it. Oh my God, it's the best thing ever. No, it's freaking difficult as hell to breastfeed. It is difficult. It is annoying because studies are not up to date with breastfeeding. I feel like they need to spend a lot more money on studies on breastfeeding, because a lot of the information and data out there is so outdated. It is completely outdated. So to me, breastfeeding was difficult because I just didn't have that support. If it wasn't for the father of my child being there holding me and saying, you know, it's okay if we need to switch the formula. But I was dedicated. I was like, listen, I need to make it a year to breastfeed. Like, I refuse. I do everything. Like, I'm so good at a lot of things, but I refuse for this to knock me down. Like, I need to breastfeed at least for a year. So I was extremely dedicated to it, and I cried a lot of nights. Just because you're dedicated doesn't mean that it's not emotionally draining, because it freaking is hard. But the good thing is having an extremely supportive spouse next to you. It's amazing. It can change your journey, because had I not had that support from my spouse, I probably would have quit. I probably would have chose formula, because it was easier, it was more convenient, and it wasn't such a hassle on my mental health. Like, breastfeeding took a lot out of me emotionally, mentally. It was extremely draining. Not my button opening up. So, regarding that, it was just a lot. It was honestly a lot. I tell everyone, you guys gotta go through it. A lot of my friends, especially when they were pregnant, you know, they were telling me, like, is it worth it? And I said, honestly, to me, the bonding with my child was extremely worth it for me. But it is emotionally draining. It is extremely draining. It is hard as hell. It was extremely hard. I honestly don't know how people do it. I didn't have that village to help me regarding pumping. I didn't have people to tell me, hey, you're doing it the wrong way. I honestly had to Google a lot of things, and some people will tell you, like, you can take medicine, you can do this, but to me, I just felt like there wasn't enough data on that. There wasn't enough research on that, so I just didn't feel comfortable in doing that. So I do have a lot of, like, the ducts that needs to be replaced. So that's going in with the manual. I don't think there's anything else in here that has to do with the manual pump. I am going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to probably finish this video, but this is not even all of the pumps that I have, because I'm looking at it and there's a few missing. But I'm just not doing that. I want to take out all of the inserts and put them in a bag, because clearly your inserts, I don't want them to get misconstrued. Some pumps do come with inserts of different sizes for your nips to fit correctly. Most of them do not. So a lot of the 17s I bought separately. I just want them to be in a different bag, because if I decide to pump again, I don't have to go searching through all of the pumps that I have. I do have portable ones. I have manual ones. I have ones that hooked up to the wall. And we will talk about that. This manual one is done. So I want to get into the joys of breastfeeding. I did love breastfeeding. It was a love-hate relationship because, girl, I couldn't stand it one day and I hated it and I cried to my boyfriend, why am I doing this to myself? And then the next day, I'm like, this is lovely. Me and my son are bonding. But to travel when you're breastfeeding is really a pain in the butt. Because not only do you need the baby bag, but you also need a mommy breastfeeding bag to make sure you have. I didn't spend money on like these breastfeeding bags that I see that are like $100. I didn't. I used a regular lunch bag. My boyfriend was working overnights and working from home, so he didn't use his lunch bag as much, and I always work, so I had a whole bunch of lunch bags. I just used those. And then some of the pumps that I bought off of Amazon and stuff, they also did come with like a mini size bag. So just make sure that you guys have your milk with ice in it. Not inside, but around it to keep it cold and make sure that it stay in that cold temperature. Because there's been times where I went out in the heat and unfortunately my breast milk did not survive because I did not put ice inside of my lunch bag, or I forgot, or I just left it in the car and completely forgot, even though I pumped and I wasted my time. So these are the manual ones that you just suck on. The rating for the manual pump, I would give that a rating of a 4 out of 5. I'm a 2 out of 5. A 4 out of 5 is definitely worth getting. A 4.5, honestly, I would get the manual pump ASAP. This one I'm going to put, it was affordable when I bought it. It was about, I think, $10 to $15 when I purchased it, because Amazon prices change every day. I swear to God it does. I don't think these were worth it. These made my nips very puffed up. It hurted and not much came out. Maybe if you're an oversupplier, again, I was a bit of an oversupplier, but not drastically. Like a normal ounce per session is about 4. I'm sorry. The average pump that comes out while you're breastfeeding, averagely, if you have one child, is from 3 ounces to 5 ounces per session, per 30-minute session. I was ranking from about 4 ounces to 8, 9, 10 ounces. Not every single time. Mainly between that 4 and 8 is where I usually stayed in. And then anything more than that was like, whoo, girls, y'all did your things. But I give these 2 out of 5. It just didn't work for me. A lot of the reviews that I read were a lot of people that were oversuppliers. They used this to latch it out. I did use them to have them in the car. They did work for me while I was out traveling, and I completely forgot my breast pumps at home. And thank God I have this as a backup stash in my car if I were to go out or go out with the girls or anything like that. At least I had this, and I was able to press it on and walk around and do what I had to do, and still I was getting some type of relief. So are these matching? Yes, these are the portable ones. The portable ones I absolutely love. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm actually just gonna start on my 5 mistakes because I feel like that helps with a lot of things. Okay, so mistake number 5. I'm going to go 5 and I'm going to go all the way down. Mistake number 5 that I did was do what makes you comfortable. Okay, the first 3 months actually the first 5-6 months I stood in the house, but the times that I did leave the house, and I went out with my girlfriends just to breathe and get out of the house. The first 2 times I was nervous. I didn't want to pump. A lot of moms that I know, they're like, I would never pump out in public, and I would never do this, and I would never do that. Honestly, makes you do whatever the hell makes you comfortable. These go to that. To me pumping while I have a jacket on should not bother anyone. And I'm going to say there was this one time particularly that I remember that I went to Once Upon a Child. I just needed a day out of the house because I was in the house for like 2 months straight. Didn't go outside not once. So I went to Once Upon a Child just to rouse around. And it was my time to pump. Now, when you're pumping and you're breastfeeding, you know that you're on a schedule. Okay? And you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, when it's time for you to pump or to latch on to breastfeed, you need to get that relief because your body is screaming at you, please get this milk out. It feels like 1,000 needles on your chest. And there was this time where I walked in confidently. I'm a very confident person. So I just walked in confidently, and the cash registers, there's about like 5 girls working behind the cash register. And jokingly, one of them, I could tell, was trying to be funny. It was like, what is that vibrating noise? And obviously the store is full of moms. And again, I'm confident. I just pulled it down a bit so she can see the top. And I said, I'm currently pumping. And the amount of different reaction was literally ridiculous. 2 of the girls was like, oh my God, I could never pump in public. Oh, you're so brave. And the other one's like, oh, I wish I could have so much courage like you, just walking around with your breast pumps. And then the other 2 girls were really concerned, like, wait a minute, those are portable? Like, how do you get those? Where? I didn't even know they had things like that. And you could just walk around. So they were just asking me questions on, like, how did I like it? Did I like it? You know, how long did I have it? Does it take out enough milk? And it's just like, girl, do whatever makes you comfortable. Because at first I was kind of self-conscious about it. Like, I never see moms out and about just pumping. And to me, I was just that mom that was like, hey, I don't care. I'm going to do it. So you can look or you cannot look. And that was that. I just didn't want to make it a bigger deal than what it was. Like, breastfeeding and pumping is so natural. Everybody always pushes, oh, you know, breast milk is the best milk. That's the old saying that I always say. I don't agree with that. I did breastfeed because that was a personal goal of myself. Honestly, if we have another child, I don't think I will breastfeed again. But then again, if my next child is super easy and latches on perfectly, hell yeah, I'll breastfeed again. So it's just like 50-50 on whether I would or wouldn't. I loved it. I love the experience. But like, people around it, like, oh my God, don't do that in public. When I didn't have a child, my chest is out 24/7. You didn't have an issue looking then. Now I have a child attached to my chest. It's like, oh my God, do that in the bathroom. I'm not doing it in the bathroom. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't feel like any woman should be ashamed of breastfeeding their child. It is extremely natural. If you want to cover up, then that's fine. I'm not saying, hey, have your whole nip out in the store. No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, cover up to some degree because I wouldn't want my son to see another woman's nipple in the store. That's just crazy. But if you're covering yourself and your child is latching on, I don't see no nipple. All I see is the top of your chest right there. What's the issue? Like, keep it pushing. If you're bothered by it, you don't got to see it. Remove yourself. It's not that hard. Me and my mom, we got into a lot of bumps about that. where, especially in the summertime, like if I was latching on or when it started getting warmer, she's like, you know, Shandi, like if we go to cookouts and stuff and you need to breastfeed, like, can you just not do it in front of everybody? I'm like, what is so wrong about breastfeeding? You want me to breastfeed and everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe Shandi's breastfeeding. But it's like, okay, you're breastfeeding, but go breastfeed in the corner. I'm not going to do that. If we're having a conversation and my son is hungry and he's tugging on me, guess what, honey? Look at my eyes. Don't look down here. It's not that hard. So even with women trying to bring you down and say, hey, don't do this, do that, do what the hell makes you comfortable. If you're fine with it being out and your son or your child, whoever is latching on and you don't see any nipple, there's not an issue. To me, there's not an issue. You shouldn't be looking that far down my chest. You should be looking at my eyes and my face anyways while you're talking to me. So to me, it just wasn't an issue. But then again, I'm not going to be walking around with my nip out with no child attached. That's crazy. Okay, so don't take my word for that because it wasn't that. The suction, I really did love it. I'll say a 4 out of 5 as well. The Mandela suction, you just squeeze it, suck it on. This thing is important. A lot of people I see don't wear this. This is important. I've cried 3 times because I bent over and this unattached and it completely fell on the floor and all of my gold was everywhere. So definitely wear this little necklace because if not, if this falls off, you're in deep crap and you're not going to be getting any milk out of that. So that is the number 5 mistake I would say. As at first I kind of like, I love my mom. She drives me crazy. We have a lot of different opinions on a lot of different things. But she kind of made me step back and was like, oh, is everybody like really that concerned? Or maybe I should put a cover over my baby. And when I was breastfeeding him, honestly, he wasn't used to a cover on top of him. So the moment I did cover, it was just like so weird for him. And he was upset. He was frustrated. Then he didn't want to latch on. So again, do whatever makes you comfortable, and not only you, but your baby as well. Number 4 on the list is the nip balm, nip oils. I'm Hispanic, and we don't waste money on BS. Honestly, we really don't. And so to me, I thought that lip balm and all of that was such a waste of money. I was like, why do you need this? Until a month in and my nips were cracking. Okay, I didn't use the silver covers, but I was like in so much pain because my nips were literally cracked and it was hard as a rock. It hurted so bad. So I did a lot of research online and I was like, okay, well, I'm not paying $10 for a little tube this little. It's ridiculous. What can I use that is worth my money? So coconut oil, honey. Get a tub of coconut oil. It's about like $5, $6, $7 for a tub this big. About like, I don't know what this is. I'm terrible at measurement, but this big. And I use it pretty much my entire breastfeeding, breast pumping. I wasn't great at putting it on every single time, but I tried. In the beginning, I really did put it on every single time. I want to say the last 3 months, I did not. So out of the 14 months, the last 3 months, I didn't, but the other months I did. So I would put it on before, or I would even lubricate the rim and then put the boob in there. And this was already lubricated with coconut oil. My OB said that coconut oil was amazing because now this is where it comes down to data and like different stuff that is not helping with us. So a lot of these oils and butters and stuff like that, it's on your nips. So obviously it's going to get in your breast milk. It's just, there's no other way around it. It's going to get in your breast milk. And I didn't want, my biggest concern as well is not only spending the money, but I didn't want chemicals in my breast milk. Like I didn't want it. So I told my OB and I messaged her, what is the most natural thing that I can use that's going to be the safest inside of the breast milk. And she said, honestly, no matter what bomb oil you put in there, it's going to get in the breast milk. It's going to be a small amount, but it's still going to get in the breast milk. And she personally used coconut oil. She said coconut oil is the safest to get in the milk. Like, if it gets in the milk, I mean, not like a huge amount, but when it rubs and it gets inside the milk, it doesn't harm the baby at all. There's no chemicals. It's extremely natural. It's just coconut oil. And so that's what I use, and it worked like a freaking charm. That thing was amazing to me. I love coconut oil. I used to rub it on there. I used to rub it even at night. And even on my pads, I will rub some on there and just stick it on, and I never had an issue with cracking. My nips in the 14 months only cracked once, and that was in the beginning, and that was it. I didn't have any issues with it cracking at all or it painful, like I hear a lot of these people on social media. I didn't have that issue because I used coconut oil. So use that coconut oil. It was amazing. Let me keep doing this while I'm talking. No, that does not go with that. This goes with that. Let's see, what else do we have? While I'm trying to match all the parts together. So 3 on the list is listening to people. And I put here, listening to people who say that they have breastfed. Okay, so I love mamas that did this to me. It was so freaking annoying. They would say, oh my gosh, Shandi, I know everything to do. I used to breastfeed my child. And I'm like, oh really? How long did you breastfeed your child? Oh, I only breastfed my child for a month. Oh, I only breastfed my child for a week. I only breastfed my child for the first couple days. And I'm just like, nice, thanks, appreciate it. What was your opinion? And so with that, I would say do your own research. Even while you're looking at this video, although I appreciate it, I always say do your research behind it. Everything that I'm listing, I'm going to list all my facts below. Everything that I have read over, I read over 1,000 times. I sent to my OB. She fact-checked it. She approved them. Do your own research. Don't see a mother on TikTok or YouTube and say, I use motor oil. I used to drink gasoline. I mean, I'm not saying people say that, but you can't go with the craziest thing or the first thing that you see on social media, because unfortunately they're just saying what the hell they want to say. There's no fact checking unless they have the fact checks under their videos, which a lot do not. Or if they do, they don't have enough experience to do it and to go off of. I'm just trying to put everything on top because I'm tired of like looking down while I'm talking. I don't want the audio to sound weird. Love this. It was like night on, night off. I missed the sound. Hold on. Oh my God. That machine sound is wild. I would be on FaceTime with people and they're like, are you pumping? Duh. 1 second, guys. I'm just going to throw everything in here. Lord. It is still going. Alright, this is it. So let me put the bags. I would say fact check everything, especially the difference of studies that are coming out. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think that we as Americans should spend more money on breastfeeding and studies? Yes. Do I think there is a lot more studies out that it is from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Yes. So do me a favor. If someone who breastfed 20 years ago is telling you it's okay to smoke marijuana while you're breastfeeding, it's okay, it's not going to get through the milk. Newsflash, marijuana does travel through your breast milk. You cannot have marijuana while breastfeeding. It stays in your system for 30 days. And how my doctor explained it to me, whatever is in your system is in your milk. Hear me out. Whatever is in your system is in your milk. If you have medicine and you're taking your allergy medicine and you feel a little drowsy, guess what? A bit of it, a small amount, maybe a small dosage or a big dosage, you don't know, is going to your breast milk. This is why I was very uncomfortable even taking Tylenol when I was breastfeeding, because what you feel, whatever's in your system, is in your milk. If you're drinking and you feel tipsy, as she stated to me, and I trust my OB, is when you feel tipsy, your breast milk is tipsy. If you're drunk, your breast milk is drunk. And although she gave me that great tip, and she said no need to pump and dump. If you're drunk, your breast milk is drunk. If you're tipsy, your breast milk is tipsy. Wait 2 to 3 hours and then pump. She said you could even pump and have a drink, because that drink is not going to go into your system until about 20 to 30 minutes. But to me, I still bought the breastfeeding strips, and it would tell you the point or average. It turns blue, and it will tell you how much alcohol is inside of your breast milk. That made me feel comfortable. When I took a drink out of the 14 months, I had 2 nights when I went out the girls to Applebee's and had one drink or one wine cooler. But that was about it, and I still bought the strips just because it made me feel comfortable. So, and I would insert them here how they look. I would feel like going up and get them in the kitchen, but I don't feel like doing that. Honestly, I have another box of breast pumps. So there's going to be some, I'm going to tell you right now, that are missing pieces. I'm just going to set them aside, and I will do that off camera and finish doing them all. But I just really need to hurry up with this video because my son is getting cranky and needs to go to sleep. So I'm going to try to do as fast as I can. So listen to your body. Obviously, if someone breastfed 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 years ago, it does not matter. Cross-check it with your OB. If you don't feel like your OB is listening to you, reach out. I will link below. I did find like a breastfeeding group that support each other, because again, I didn't have a lot of support while breastfeeding. Unfortunately, I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of those women were completely different ethnicity as me, and I just felt like I was not being heard in that group that was there. Again, every week is different people joining on. Just that week for me, I just didn't feel like I had anyone that could relate or even understand what I'm talking about. It's just like, oh, lash the baby out, and I'm like, listen, I pump. I do latch my son on as much as he wants to, but unfortunately, the fortunate matter is majority of his milk will be in a bottle because we're having issues latching. So what else can I do? And I just didn't feel like I was heard enough. So that just made me say, you know what? Screw it. I don't want to be a part of this. So I would have told myself, after he's done breastfeeding, girl, grab that pump and pump away. Pump until your heart can't. Obviously, don't pump more than 30 minutes. These two are mixed parts, so I'm just going to put them in a bag. But pump. Make sure you pump, because that you will create more milk. So however much your body takes out milk that first month, is then the second month your milk supply is going to tank completely. Because whatever you're taking out is what your body is going to create. So that first month you're on oversupply mode because your body's like, shoot it out. We just need her to, you know, have as much milk as she needs. And then by the second month, it's like, oh, okay, actually, we only need about 4 ounces. Oh, we only actually need about 8 ounces every session. So for that first month, pump. I know you just had a baby. I know you're exhausted. I know you're emotionally, physically exhausted. But pump that first month so at least you can have a stash the first month. That's what I would recommend myself, because I didn't start building that stash until the second to third month, where I had to drink my concoctions and drink the raspberry tea and the coconut water every single day. And I had to hydrate, have coke. I used to have oat milk with God, what is that called? I'll put it right here because honestly, it's nighttime. I'm getting a blur. But that thing is nasty. This right here, the picture I'm going to put right here, it is disgusting. But it is the only thing that made my milk supply freaking drastically shoot out the roof, you know, and it really did help me. But if I can do it all over again, I would tell myself to pump the first month, have a stash, and you won't stress. You won't have to cry every single day because you are pumping and you're only pumping enough for him to drink that very moment, and you're crying because he's still crying, and you have to finish pumping in order for him to even have milk. And my son did not. There was twice where I had to give him formula because I physically wasn't making enough milk for him. And I felt bad. I cried even worse because he went to bed hungry. He took one sip, my battery light, because it's giving, everything is freaking dying. So let me hurry up. So the formula, he didn't drink at all. He decided to go to sleep hungry. And I cried drastically. I was so sad. I was hurt. I felt like I was failing as a mother. Best pump ever. But unfortunately, I had to pump in order for him to get milk, because he wasn't latching on. So I really felt like I felt as a mother. And I used to do different concoctions. I'm going to list them all down below because the video is kind of looking a little because my light just died. So I'm going to end the clip there. Down low, please take a look at the description bar. I'm going to post all of my recipes. I will do like little shorts as well and add them throughout this week of what I used to use. But I used to do oat milk. I used to do coconut water. I used to do it all. Okay, I'm going to list them all below of what really helped me. And then I'll do some shorts for you guys because, again, the quality is looking crazy because the light is not working anymore. It's dead. I've been talking for too long. So I want to thank you guys so much for helping me. Where's the other one? Okay, I'm just going to throw it in there. Oh, there it is. For helping me get organized and packing all of my breast pumps away. Unfortunately, my breastfeeding journey is at its end, and my pumping journey is at its end as well. These are all of our breast pumps that we have nice and organized, and I'm going to leave in this diaper bag because it's easier to store that way. But I want to thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this type of content, and I can do another video on breastfeeding because I have so much more to say on breastfeeding, breast pumping, and just the entire journey, please let me know down below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me or message me. I'm also going to leave my email down below. Honestly, I would prefer DMs. I'm terrible at emails. But I want to thank you so much for watching my channel, and I appreciate you guys. Have a great night, day, whatever you're doing, and always stay positive. You are going to make it through this journey. And if you're just starting it, sweetheart, welcome to the journey. It is bittersweet, but it is amazing. Bye, guys.